Hey everyone, it's Dina Calmetta here with CWW7 News. And for today's headlines, we're going to touch base on what is happening with North Korea, Japan, China, the United States, as well as Russia, Syria, and the United States. In the last 48 hours, here are some of the headlines. North Korea preparing an underwater nuclear attack. Just yesterday, a headline read, "Is there a Russian or North Korean submarine off the coast of California?" There were some unusual Navy aircraft patrol searches sparking some fears. Japan's Navy will carry out joint military drills with the U.S. near the Korean Peninsula. China's president tells Trump he wants a peaceful solution to North Korea. Elite U.S. Navy SEAL squad that killed Osama bin Laden is training up in South Korea to take out Kim Jong-un. North Korea state media warns of nuclear strike if provoked as U.S. warships approach. Preparing for Cold War II, Russia to hold sea trials of huge assault ships. Russian nuclear-capable bombers fly near Japan. That just occurred this morning. And Putin says Russia's relationship with U.S. has deteriorated since President Trump became president. On the brink, ex-Russian general says West Putin tension is more dangerous than the Cold War. And President Trump says, "We're not going into Syria." Let's first start with this headline from Fox News. Russian nuclear-capable bombers fly near Japan. For the first time in nearly 3 months, Russia flew nuclear-capable Bear bombers near Japan Wednesday, the latest sign of increasing tensions in the region. The official said 3 Russian Tu-95 Bear bombers took off from a base in eastern Russia, flying in the Sea of Japan, and remained in international airspace. One U.S. official described the Russian bomber fight as clearly meant to send a message. The latest provocation from Russia comes as Secretary of State Rex Tillerson visits Moscow Wednesday, the first visit by a cabinet member to Russia since President Trump assumed office. Joining the 3 Russian long-range bombers was an Il-20 spy plane. The Russian bombers took off Wednesday from an air base in eastern Russia, home to one of Russia's largest fleet of strategic bombers. Russia, without a doubt, is sending a message, especially when he said that the U.S. relationship with Russia has deteriorated since Donald Trump became president. President Putin has said Russia's relationship with the U.S. has badly deteriorated since President Trump became president. When asked about relations since Trump became president, Putin said one could say that the level of trust on a working level, especially on the military level, has not improved, but rather has deteriorated. In an interview transcript released by the Kremlin, the Russian premier was also asked about accusations that the Syria's government launched a chemical weapons attack in Idlib province. Putin claimed Damascus had given up its chemical weapon stocks and offered 2 main explanations for the horrific incident. One was that the Syrian government airstrikes had hit rebel chemical weapon stocks, releasing poisonous gas, or that the incident was a setup designed to discredit the Syrian government. It comes after Putin sensationally claimed the U.S. is preparing airstrikes on Syrian capital and will pin the blame on Bashar Assad's forces. The Russian leader made the astonishing claim that the U.S. is planning to fake chemical weapons attacks during a joint press conference with the Italian president. Putin insisted Russia would tolerate Western criticism of its role in Syria, but hoped that attitudes would eventually soften. His claims that Russia has information on strikes being planned by the U.S. on the southern Damascus region, the aim of which is to blame the resulting devastation on the discredited Syrian government, will not go down well in the White House. When asked whether he expected more U.S. missile strikes on Syria, Putin said, "We have all information that a similar provocation is being prepared in other parts of Syria, including in the southern Damascus suburbs, where they are planning to again plant some substance and accuse the Syrian authorities of using chemical weapons." Hopefully, with Rex Tillerson meeting with Russia today, tensions will calm down just a little bit between the two nations. And also, President Trump did state that we're not going into Syria. The New York Post reports, amid complaints that his aides are saying different things about Syria and his policy is confusing, President Trump cleared the air, stating, "We're not going into Syria. Our policy is the same. It hasn't changed. We're not going into Syria. Our big mission is getting rid of IS. That's where it's always been. So hopefully that'll calm things down. But something tells me that President Putin's not going to forget so easily what went down in Syria. So I will definitely keep you guys up to date. But let's move on and talk about North Korea. The North Korean state media warns of a nuclear strike if provoked as U.S. warships approach. North Korean state media on Tuesday warned of a nuclear attack on the United States at any sign of U.S. aggression as a U.S. Navy strike group steamed towards the Western Pacific. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged China to do more to rein in its neighbor. He said in a tweet North Korea was looking for trouble and the United States would solve the problem with or without China's help. Tension has escalated sharply in the Korean Peninsula, with talk of military action by the United States gaining traction following its strikes last week against Syria amid concerns the reclusive North may soon conduct a sixth nuclear test. North Korea's official newspaper said the country was prepared to respond to any aggression by the United States. Quote, "Our revolutionary, strong army is keenly watching every move by enemy elements, with our nuclear sight focused on the U.S. bases, not only in South Korea and the Pacific Operation Theater, but also in the U.S. mainland." End of quote. The South Korean acting president warned of greater provocations by North Korea and ordered the military to intensify monitoring and to ensure close communication with the United States. It is possible the North may wage greater provocations, such as a nuclear test timed with various anniversaries, including the Supreme People's Assembly. Trump said in a tweet, a trade deal with China and the United States would be far better for them if they solved the North Korean problem. If China decides to help, that would be great, he said. If not, we will solve the problem without them. On the other hand, China has reportedly deployed 150,000 troops to the North Korean border to prepare for preemptive attacks on North Korea. And he and Trump spoke by phone on Wednesday, as reported by Fox News. The Chinese president told President Trump in a phone call Wednesday that Beijing is willing to work with Washington on ending North Korea's nuclear weapons program, but wants to do so through peaceful means. He insisted on peace and stability on the Korean Peninsula in the wake of the deployment of the USS Carl Vinson to the area and the conducting of the biggest ever U.S.-South Korea military drills. China insists on realizing the denuclearization of the peninsula and is willing to maintain communication and coordination with the American side over the issue on the peninsula. The call came after Trump warned in a pair of tweets Tuesday that North Korea is looking for trouble and vowed to get Kim Jong-un's regime under control with or without China's help. An apparently elite U.S. Navy SEAL squad that killed Osama bin Laden is training up in South Korea to take out Kim Jong-un. SEAL Team 6 is taking part in secretive drills alongside other elite U.S. forces in South Korea amid rising tensions with Pyongyang, says news.com.au. U.S. military officials confirmed ground, air, naval, and special operations are taking part in several joint and combined field training operations, which involve up to 17,000 troops. And South Korean newspaper has claimed the teams would take part in a drill to simulate the removal of Kim Jong-un. But U.S. officials denied the elite troopers are preparing a raid to take out Kim. Asked about drills, former U.S. Navy Commander Gary Ross said there are a variety of special operation forces participating in Foul Eagle, as they do in most regional exercises. Foul Eagle is a regularly scheduled annual exercise that is accumulation of many months of planning and is not being conducted in response to the current situation on the peninsula. The special operations teams are thought to also include the Army Rangers, Delta Force, and Green Berets. The training started one day after U.S. deployed its state-of-the-art THAAD missile defense system to the region. And apparently a nuke sniffer aircraft has arrived as tensions rise on the Korean Peninsula. A U.S. aircraft that specializes in detecting radioactive debris after the detonation of a nuclear device has arrived amid tensions rising on the Korean Peninsula. An Air Force WC-135 Constant Phoenix, commonly referred to as a nuke sniffer, arrived at a Kadena Air Base last Friday night. A spokesman for the Air Force's 18th Wing at Kadena did not immediately respond to requests for comment, and Japan's Ministry of Defense would not immediately verify the report. However, a senior Japan Self-Defense Forces official confirmed the aircraft's arrival, according to a report on Wednesday. And Japan has teamed up with the U.S. and sends warships to the Korean Peninsula. The Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force may carry out helicopter landings on the USS Carl Vinson, which was deployed near the Korean Peninsula. It is believed the joint military drills are to be carried out as a show of strength towards Kim Jong-un's despotic regime. An anonymous source told Reuters that Japan wants to dispatch several destroyers as the Carl Vinson enters the East China Sea. A source who told Reuters about the drills has direct knowledge of the plan, while the other has reportedly been briefed. Japanese military officials refused to comment on the proposed drills. And one more report. Kim Jong-un may be planning an underwater nuclear attack using a secret submarine. While North Korea is still struggling to develop nuclear-headed airborne missiles, it is fast increasing its underwater military power. The country possesses numerous submarines, which it has used with devastating effect in the past, with fears they are now being adapted to fire nuclear weapons. More worrying is the submarine's ability to disappear and avoid detection. In 2015, around 50 went missing, setting alarm bells ringing in Seoul and Tokyo. A security expert stated, "We didn't know where they were at the time. One would hope that we would keep very close tabs on those that could launch the submarine-launched ballistic missiles." All of that is very worrisome because they may very well have a nuclear weapon someday. Very high tensions with these nations. We are definitely on the cusp of a war. I will keep you guys up to date as these stories continue to develop, but those are your breaking news for today. Just as an FYI for those that regularly tune into this channel, I want to say thank you for watching, but as an FYI, my schedule is a little hectic these days. I usually do videos on Mondays and Tuesdays and Fridays. There's going to be just a slight change of schedule. It'll be Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays just for the next 4 to 5 weeks, and then we'll get back on schedule again. And hopefully I'll be able to get you guys multiple videos going forward. But please do come and visit me on Facebook, where I do have these stories and many more. Also on our ministry website at www.cww7news.org. And also, if there's anybody out there that has any questions about these last days or about Jesus, please feel free to send me an email at cww7news@gmail.com. All right, you guys, talk to you soon. God bless.